welcome to today's Decay, where we celebrate births and beginnings of everything important since the dawn of time. May 16th edition, whole day. And here's what happened. H.H. Holmes, born today, 1861, who was a serial killer who built a literal horror hotel in Chicago to lure Midwest girls who were coming to the Chicago World's Fair to their deaths. As depicted in Eric Larson's Devil in the White City, which I think everybody reads out of curiosity for the H.H. Holmes story, who winds up coming away from the book completely being enamored with Olmsted and his focus on flora and fauna when creating the Chicago World's Fair park grounds, and then also Grand Central and Prospect Park, etc., etc., etc. And you wind up coming away from it with such a appreciation for flowers in the city. What a strange heel turn. Nobody saw that coming. But yeah, H.H. Holmes is your gateway drug to Olmsted and flora and fauna. Bull Montana, born today, 1887, who was a character actor early in Hollywood, who is a professional boxer for a while, who looks all beat up with like cauliflower ears and his very striking face. Striking as in boxing, striking, right? No, right. He was in The Champ. No, excuse me. He was in The Kid with Charlie Chaplin. He was in When Clouds Roll By with Douglas Fairbanks Sr., which is like a hallucinogenic, surrealistic masterpiece where he plays this like demon character. He's also in The Lost World as an ape man. A bunch more. Bull Montana. Do check him out on the day he was born, 1887. 1903, today Luna Park first opened its doors. I love that we're now in Coney Island season of My Today's Decays, and that like all of the amusement parks in Coney Island open like right around the same time, like, you know, to start the summer season basically. Luna Park was built on top of where the footprint of Sea Lion Park, which was the first amusement park in Coney Island, maybe in the country. I'm not sure about that. I think that's right though. Sea Lion Park. But Luna Park was particularly epic. I mean, all those pictures you see of, you know, like lit Coney Island that looked almost like, you know, Mount Olympus or something like that. Like if you had put a human scale here that dwarfed in comparison to how massive Luna Park was. Quite epic. Yeah, what did I say? 1903 it opened, and it didn't, not really close down, but its doors didn't burn down until 1944. And this is where my family grew up, right in Brighton Beach, like right next to Coney Island, where Luna Park was in Brighton Beach. And my grandfather, when I was growing up, used to tell me all these crazy stories about the rides they had there, and I just didn't believe any of it. It all sounded too incredible. And then later in life, I realized everything he ever told me was true. Yeah. You know what he didn't tell me about was Yvonne Craig, who was born today in 1937, and my old roommate, some 20, almost 25 years ago, met her at a horror convention, probably Chiller Theater, and was able to get this signed to me. Knowing, can you see this? Maybe you can see this. So the light here is not my friend. We're more darkness friendly here, I suppose, right? Yeah. So anyway, yeah, Gene Altieri III was very nice in acquiring this for me, and it's been a keepsake ever since. Yvonne Craig played Batgirl in the 1966 Batman TV show, and then, what did I say this was? Almost 25 years ago. And then this year, as the stars aligned, I wound up somehow, lightning struck twice, Lurex struck twice, and I was able to get this additional signature by Yvonne Craig, but this time signed to Forrest J. Ackerman and Famous Monsters. So I've got Forey's autograph of Yvonne Craig as Batgirl. What were the chances of that, huh? Also, you know, Gene Altieri III, my roommate, who was a huge 70s, 80s schlock horror fanatic. I asked him multiple times and never got an answer. I saw this movie on, was it USA Up All Night? No, sorry, it was on Saturday Nightmares. Saturday Nightmares. When I was a child, I was probably about 7 years old or so, and I remember we had a babysitter, and I hid behind the couch as she was watching Saturday Nightmares, watching some horror movie. I kind of just peeked over, you know, the top of it or the side of it to like watch along with her without her realizing it. And there was a scene with this couple in bed, and like the lady like wakes up or like, you know, stirs and like wakes up the guy. He's like, I heard something in the closet. Go check it out. Go check it out. Like, oh, it's nothing. Go back to sleep. No, really, please, you know, go check it out. Fine. He begrudgingly gets up. You know, like shuffles over to the closet. The music swells, and he opens the door, and there's nothing there. And he's just like, oh, see, you got me up for nothing. And he's walking back to bed, like, oh, you know, shaking his head. And all of a sudden, his hand reaches out from underneath the bed, grabs onto his ankle, pulls him under the bed. The lady starts screaming. This like giant sword starts sticking up through the mattress. And at that point, me as like a 7-year-old just like lost it, ran upstairs. The babysitter's like, what are you doing out of bed? Get up there. And this moment has been like ingrained in my head my entire life, and I couldn't for the life of me figure out what movie this was. I did this whole search of like, it was Saturday Nightmares, what were all the movies that played on Saturday Nightmares in whichever year we're talking about, and just like nothing made any sense. And Gene, who like should know all this stuff, just couldn't direct me to what it was. And then Sean Lynch, I posted something. He also was like a big, you know, this era fan. So I gave the same description to Sean, and within a moment he was like, "Oh, it's Alone in the Dark, Alone in the Dark." And then that brought me to finding the DVD for Alone in the Dark, which premiered today in 1982. And after watching it, I can say for sure this is it. So Gene Altieri, you let me down. Sean Lynch, not so much. So maybe today, on the day it premiered, I can relive my own Saturday nightmares. That's it. Till tomorrow. Goodbye.